Are you in a relationship with a covert narcissist? Ugh, I've been there too, and it totally sucks. And if you want to know how covert narcissists attack their victims, watch till the end and you'll find out. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung. I've been recognized as one of the top 1% of attorneys in the country, and I've written 2 best-selling books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a Step-by-Step Divorce Guide, and I've helped millions of people figure out how to deal with narcissists and get out of these narcissistic relationships, and that's what I do for you right here on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, now is a great time to do that. It's so easy. Just hit subscribe and hit that notification bell, and that way you'll get notified when I upload brand new content and go live and do all kinds of things for you, because I've been in relationships with narcissists. And so I've made it my mission to help you get out of these relationships, either through legal means or any other means, but negotiating with narcissists is something that we are all going to end up having to do at some point in our lives. They say that 1 in 10 people are either narcissistic or have narcissistic traits. And if each one of those people narcissistically abuses 5 people in their lifetimes, we're talking about 3.4 billion people. The bottom line is that nobody is immune. We've all been there. We've all had to deal with these people. And something I've said before, and I want to make sure that I say again, is that narcissists don't attach themselves to you because you have so little value, which is what they want you to believe, because they come after you and then they start devaluing you. It's because you have so much value, because narcissists need that endless amount of narcissistic supply. And covert narcissists in relationships are no fun. And if you want to know more about covert narcissists in relationships specifically, check out my video on covert narcissists in relationships, and you'll learn more about that. But today I'm going to be talking about how covert narcissists attack their victims. So covert narcissists are so different than the grandiose narcissists. And covert can be malignant as well, by the way, but covert narcissists tend to be under the radar. To the rest of the world, they look amazing. They look perfect. They're wonderful. They're kind. They're generous. They're so easy to get along with. They only show their ugly, horrible, heinous face to their victims. And so here you are with somebody who, when you first meet them, is generous and kind and says all the right things, and everybody loves them. And oftentimes they're in positions of, where people love them, like clergy or doctors or psychologists, people who seem to be very caring, who seem to be just the most amazing people that you could have ever met. And so they come on with love bombing, just like all narcissists do. And if you want to know more about love bombing, check out my video on love bombing. But basically, it's that time where they are grooming you to become their target. They're testing you out to see if you're the right one for them, to see if you're going to be good. And so they present themselves to you as wonderful. And if it's a romantic situation, they're the perfect spouse. If it's a business situation, they're the perfect business partner. So they get themselves ensconced into the relationship with you. And then once they're firmly in place, then they start with devaluing, and they start saying little things. So the first way that covert narcissists attack their victims is through passive aggression. And what that is they seem like they're being very nice, but then they're also saying something that's not so nice. So they'll say something like, you are doing so well with your weight loss. I mean, you still have a ways to go, but you're not looking as big as you normally do. Something like that. So it's sort of like a compliment, but also a devalue. It's also a put down. So you'll see these little kinds of things, you know, like, oh, I see that you took care of, you know, the bank statements or balancing the checkbook or whatever it is. I just went ahead and fixed this mistake that you had. But good for you for doing that. That's really great. But, you know, I just went ahead and fixed your mistake. You know, little things like that that are just kind of like this dig that are so like passive aggressive that you're not really sure what's going on. Another way that they can be passive aggressive is to say that they're going to do something and then not do it. And now you're left in this position of trying to go after them and go, hey, you know, how come you didn't do the thing that you said that you were going to do? And they say, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. And then they never do it. And it's sort of like almost like a little rebellion against you. Like, I'm not going to do what you want me to do kind of a thing. So passive aggression is something you see a lot in covert narcissists because it's something that they can kind of do under the radar and people don't necessarily see it. It's not overt. It's not in your face. It also gives them the ability of plausible deniability where they can kind of go, well, I wasn't saying anything bad. I was complimenting them. What are you talking about? And so they don't seem like they're the bad ones. They're so excellent at passive aggression and it's just eats away at you. It's like little by little, you just get like little chunks taken out of you until you're just kind of like nothing left of you, or they just like suck a little blood at a time, or death by 1,000 cuts. I've heard all of those expressions before, and because the two narcissists that I had to deal with were both coverts, I understand it completely, and it is no fun to deal with that. So passive aggression is the first one. And by the way, if you want to know more about the covert passive aggressive narcissist, I do have a video on that, but I also highly recommend the book by Debbie Mirza called The Covert Passive Aggressive Narcissist, and we'll drop a link to that below as well. If you've ever dealt with these energy vampires and you know exactly what I'm talking about, give me a vampires in the comments below. So the second thing that covert narcissists use to attack their victims is, oh, their good old-fashioned favorites, gaslighting. All narcissists love gaslighting. And gaslighting is basically a way to try to make you think that you're crazy. And so they say things like, oh, we talked about that, when you know you didn't talk about that. Or you said you were going to do that and you know that you didn't. Or even if you see something that's evidence right in front of your face, like a text message that looks like they're being inappropriate with somebody else, they say, oh, you're just reading things into it. You're just imagining stuff. And I'm just friends with this person, or I work with this person. And why do you always have to be that way? So, you know, gaslighting is a way to get control over their victims and start making victims almost question their own reality, question their own thinking, question their own self in a lot of ways. I mean, you just get to this point where you don't even know what's real anymore because they're just constantly gaslighting you into making you think that you're the one that's crazy. Another way that covert narcissists attack their victims is by isolating you. So making you put all your attention and focus on them, being jealous if you are talking to anybody else, making sure that everything that you do is about them. And even if you're trying to tell them something about you or how you're feeling, they'll interrupt you. They'll start saying how they're the victim, that, you know, whatever it is that you had a problem with it ends up getting shoved aside because they have to talk about their problem and what it is. And I can't believe you're attacking me. And especially because I'm depressed or I'm sick or this is all going on. And you know that this is going on with me. And so it's all, you know, shoved aside and isolating you from your friends and your family. And, you know, why you have to be talking to this person at this time, and this should be our time together, and who's calling you at this hour, and why are you leaving to go talk to somebody else or be with someone else, you know, and so you just end up with, you know, no family or friends because you've got to put 100% into this person. Another thing that covert narcissists do is Stonewall. So they'll just not get back to you. They'll just basically kind of like ghost you and stop talking to you. And if you want to know more about ghosting, you should check out my video on ghosting. But, you know, they just go dark. It's sort of a form of passive aggression in a way, actually, where they just, you're trying to reach them and they don't respond to you. And then when you finally do get a hold of them, they're like, oh, I was busy, I was working, I was this, I was that. And you know that they could have at least sent you a text back to say, hey, I'm busy, I'll talk to you later, or something like that. But they want you to be worried. They love creating drama. They love creating like where you're scared about something, where you're intimidated. So that's definitely another way that covert narcissists attack their victims. But another of their main little ways is triangulation. So this is not a direct attack on you. So coverts kind of tend to hang back. They don't want to do the direct attack thing. They're sneakier. They kind of go around. They figure out ways to sort of attack you in very subtle ways. It's so much worse in some ways than somebody who comes right at you. So one of the things that they do is they triangulate. So they get all of their flying monkeys all lined up and believing that there's something wrong with you. And they do it and they couch it in ways like, oh, I'm just so concerned about how much she's drinking. You know, something like that. Like they care so much and I can't believe that they're doing that. Or, oh, it makes me so sad that she's, you know, talking to these other people or she's doing these things to me, so that they become like the victim, like that the other person is doing things to this person. And so that's another thing that they do. And they get all of their flying monkeys lined up to thinking that you are bad in some way. And the best flying monkeys, the ones that they love the most, are the ones that they think you want to have a relationship with, or you want to, you know, them to respect you or love you or like you or whatever. And so those are the ones, especially if they can spot weakness. If they're very, very good at manipulating. They are master manipulators. So they'll look for people who are going to be open to having this conversation with them and open to maybe hearing what they have to say. I know one of the covert narcissists that I had to deal with actually got my own cousin to come and talk to me about what a victim this other person was. And I just couldn't believe that this was actually happening. But that's how good they are. And I was since able to get my cousin to understand what was really going on. And, you know, that's not happening anymore. But that's something that covert narcissists do, is triangulate and line up their flying monkeys. And it is certainly something that they do during the discard phase of the relationship. And when you are ending a relationship and you're having to figure out how to end it, whether it's negotiating a divorce, negotiating a business settlement, any kind of negotiation, this is the kind of thing that they are going to be doing. As covert narcissists, they're going to attack you even more. It's everything that they were doing during the relationship will be magnified and on steroids over and over and over again. And so you need to be prepared for that. And so when you go to negotiate with them, please make sure you have my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet. You can just get that at winmynegotiation.com. And if you are dealing with a covert narcissist, I know like the craziness that they do in your brain, it's like you just can't stop ruminating on it. And it just actually attacks every ounce of your cells. You know, they're energy vampires. So please don't do it alone. Join me in my free private Facebook group. It's called Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung, and we'll make sure that there's a link to that below as well. If you like this video, give it a like, share it so other people can have this content and start to learn to protect themselves as well. And then make sure that you have dropped me a comment and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel today. I'm Rebecca Zung. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.